What does freedom mean to you? Does it mean the freedom to choose? The freedom to have a family and raise your kids according to your own values? What about living a wild, adventurous life, experimenting with music, relationships, or art? What does freedom really mean? What if freedom meant something that only a few Americans still understood? What if it meant that your choices and your values were set by you, rather than by some politician in a far-off capital? Some people think we're only free to choose to live exactly how they live, by their moral code, or their narrow worldviews. But if liberty means anything, it means that you, and you alone, have the power to exercise your rights to which the laws of nature and nature's God granted you. It's time to put these principles back into action. It's time to restore the American dream, activate in our communities, and take our country back. It's time to wake up, America. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're glad to have you on the program today. Appreciate you all joining us, like Hanno Rock Pony. Quest Fanning's here with us today, as well as Buddy Mansour, Chris Morrill, John Rail, A.N. Henry, Tech Ninjas here. Nice to see you all. Appreciate everybody who's joining us today. Glad to have you here. Let's get the program started. Managers are starting to adapt to hybrid work models. A new study that came out shows that managers who look at their employees doing hybrid work, part-time at home, part-time remote, on the road, sometimes in the office, hybrid work models, managers are finally starting to adapt on it. That was one of my biggest complaints, is that managers have no idea how to manage these people in a new work environment post-COVID-19. We'll talk about that at the top of the program, as well as, well, I've got to set you up for the debt ceiling battle, which is happening today. The national debt now outpaces the GDP of the United States, 120% of it. We're going to have to talk about that as well with Edie Vogel, who'll be joining us here at 7:30 this morning. I'm going to talk to her about the debt ceiling battle, as well as Hunter Biden blacking out at Joe's house while meeting with Chinese official while the secret documents that have been found were nearby. Edie Vogel is also going to talk about Trump's triumphant return. That's right, Donald Trump will be returning to Twitter. Can you believe it? I know you're excited, right? Well, I can hear Chris Morrill over there in the live stream saying, yeah, that's right. Donald Trump, the man, the myth, the legend, will be returning to Twitter. And apparently he's also fishing for a chance to get back on Facebook as well. What do you think? Should they put Donald Trump back on Twitter? I think the eyes have it. I think the eyes have it, for sure. Come on. Besides, isn't it like way more fun having him on there, even if you don't like him? Don't you just enjoy it for the entertainment value alone? Donald Trump back on Twitter, on social media, making liberals' heads explodes. Is that plural? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm just really tired this week. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's how I heard from, I think, Mr. Vanderfelt's yesterday, who messaged me, and he's going to send me some deer jerky this week. I'm kind of excited about that. I like the spicy deer jerky. And then there's some mild for my baby doll. And we're going to talk about what else? Oh, I've got some spicy stuff later in the show. So Camellia is going to join us today, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about these neurotic females freaking out about their kids, talking about maybe they'll let their kids go to a sleepover, maybe they won't let their kids go to a sleepover. Are there any guns in the house where there's a sleepover? Is there any alcohol in the house? I tell you, we are raising the softest generation of kids. Like, and like, I know when I was a kid, people were talking about how soft our generation was, but now I feel like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven compared to the kids these days. Kids these days. Thank you so much, by the way, Sarah Palacios, John Rail, Brandon Meyer, Michael Nitt, A.N. Henry, and Matt Unruh, because look at you guys all with your gold bars next to your names. That's awesome. You guys, that's 2 months of monthly supporters. Now remember, when you get to the third month as a monthly supporter, you're going to get a new badge as well. So make sure that when the next month comes around, that you sign up for the new badge, because every month, I think it's like all the way up to 6 months, and then it goes from like 6 months, it hops over to a year subscription for the YouTube channel, which is only like $2.99 a month. which I know is a lot for some people. So, definitely not writing that off at all. I was watching the Steven Crowder battle yesterday, and I watched the hour-long video from, I think Jeremy is his name, from the Daily Wire, the CEO of the Daily Wire. Watched all of that. Part of it last night, part of it this morning as I was getting ready to talk to you a little bit about the Steven Crowder Daily Wire saga. If you missed yesterday, I spoke to John Miltimore, the managing editor of the Foundation for Economic Education, and I was chatting with John a little bit about the whole situation with the contract that Steven Crowder was offered. And I thought that the Daily Wire response rebuttal to what Steven Crowder had said was pretty fair and legitimate. Essentially, the Daily Wire offered, this is Ben Shapiro's outfit for those who don't know. The Daily Wire essentially offered $50 million to Steven Crowder as a preliminary agreement. They didn't have a final contract or anything, but a preliminary agreement to Steven Crowder as a $50 million contract to come on for, I believe it was 4 years in the beginning and then 2 years potential after that. $50 million is the term of that contract. And the part that Steven Crowder had an issue with was that if YouTube or Facebook or whatever, like part of the revenue that Crowder brought in got demonetized by big tech, then there would be a 25% reduction in that fee on for, the time of period or whatever that he was monetized. If he was completely removed from YouTube, then he would lose a percentage of his revenue. And Jeremy from the Daily Wire, I think, made a lot of really good points. He's a CEO of the Daily Wire. His the literal job of a CEO is to increase quarterly profits, right? That is what a CEO has to do. If they're not doing that, if like quarters go by or 3 quarters go by and they're not increasing profits, usually a CEO is out the door. And so I felt like Jeremy's explanation for this. Yes, Rare Camellia says she's missed the Daily Wire drama. So essentially, um, turning down $50 million. Yeah, exactly. I think it was. I mean, my opinion was a mistake. But here's the thing: Jeremy was right. Crowder is not really a team player, and I kind of I understand that. Crowder wants to do his own thing, and it makes a lot of sense. He's doing. He wants to own his own business and stuff. And Jeremy's criticisms of Crowder were that Crowder's never run a business like Jeremy has. Never dealt with. He hasn't like tried to monetize content in the same way that Jeremy has with multiple talents running a business. And a $50 million investment in a talent is enormous and it's risky. And Jeremy has a lot of good points. But I think Jeremy's also right in that, Crowder blowing up the Daily Wire saying that Big Con is in bed with big tech. I think that is an exaggeration and hyperbole based on what we understand of the contract. Now, is Crowder right that a lot of these big institutions take advantage of young talent and exploit them when they don't know, how to get better contract terms? Yeah, sure, I think so. But I don't believe that that means that Big Con is in bed with big tech, right? So the reality is usually frequently in these kinds of internet sign spats. Give me my $5, Camellia, internet sign in these internecine spats, the reality is usually somewhere in the mushy middle, right in the gray area in between. So, do I think that that Daily Wire is in bed with big tech? No, I don't. Do I think that uh, that Big Con sometimes takes advantage of young people? Yes, I do. Do I think the $50 million was a generous offer? Sure, but I mean, I'm not. Somebody said $50 million to me, I'd be like, okay. And if YouTube demonetizes me, I lose 25%. What's 25% of 50 million? Can anybody do the math here? Beep boop 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 beep boop boop boop. Boop. I need a little beep boop 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 sound effect.
2 hours later.
I don't know. Let's say 100 million is 25 million. So what's half of 25 million? What is it? 12.5 or something like that. Is that what it is? $12.5 million out of $50 million. Give me that 50 million. Crowder versus a pit bull. Who you got? Says Chris. Boy, were you guys laughing your ass off yesterday at all the pit bull anger? Man, you guys should have seen the Instagram comments when I did the when I did the video, posted it over on Instagram, I was talking about how they were softer than baby shit, the pit bull owners, and they were like, "Austin, you're soft," blah 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 blah. And I was just like sitting there, I was like, last night I was like in my karate class, and I was like punching the bag and kicking the bag, and I was like, "I'll show you who's soft." And then I grabbed a 7-year-old and a green belt, and I broke him over my knee, and I was like, "I'll show you who's soft." And then I grabbed a 10-year-old and I started punching her in the face, and I was like, "I'll show you who's soft." Just a joke. Just a joke. Relax, people. Okay. Some $5. I got my $5 for my internet sign. Now the question is if internet sign is pronounced with a long E or a long L sound or a long I sound. Have to look at it now. So if Crowder gets a shot on YouTube, he has to pay what, 100K? It's not like that he has to pay it. It's just that it gets, I think, deducted from his contract. At least that's the way that I understood those terms. Looks like it's already 7:15, so I'm heading up towards a commercial break. I'm not going to hit the commercial break just yet because I don't think that's fair. Because I did get a little bit of a late start this morning. I've just been going real slow. I've just been absolutely beat this week. I'm sorry that I'm not as high energy as I typically am. I'll try and perk it up for you, drink my coffee, and get ourselves ready because we got some news to hit. One is this new study. Let me just quote this to you here real quick. Researchers surveyed managers from a wide variety of industries. And the survey found that 52% of managers agreed that working from home improves concentration. Listen to that. Improves concentration, actually. 60% said it improves productivity, and 63% said it increases motivation. That's a significant shift in attitude from managers, as there has kind of been a perception that working from home can be a distraction, leading to a lack of productivity and motivation. But certainly that needs an analysis here in the United States. It needs a little bit more looking into. But the fact is that this is the model of the future, and employers are really going to have to start learning how to deal with this. They're going to have to make concessions on this fact. And managers, middle managers, I've always said, are going to be the most resistant to it because typically their job depends on the fact that there's somebody showing up to work that day and they're actually saying, "Hey, what is this person doing? I'm looking over their shoulder," right? Their job is essentially to spy on the lower employees lower on the totem pole and say, "Hey, are these people actually doing their job here?" And so middle managers, I've always felt like we're going to be the roadblocks to moving towards more hybrid work models. What do you think about this? Send us a text 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. You guys are already still talking about pit bulls over there. Somebody says, maybe you need to finish your showers cold. Quote, they say that helps or something. Cold showers. Cold shower you, Camellia, when you come on the show later at 8 a.m. today. We talk about cold showers at sleepovers. What kind of sleepovers are you having? And then I can't wait. I know you all already know the story of Kellogg's cornflakes. Some of you don't, but if you don't, then don't look it up because you're just going to really laugh your butt off when later today Edie Vogel comes in and I explain to her the back history of Kellogg's cornflakes. Don't spoil it for everybody. If you do, I'll give you a big loud. But if you don't know what it is, don't look it up because Edie's going to have a really good time learning about that later on the show today. I can't wait. Anna DePalm, nice to see you. Good morning. Love having you on the program today, joining us live. She says she takes a cold shower all the time. It has so many benefits. That. They don't stick to hot showers. Today I'm feeling hot, hot, hot on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here. Dustin, nice to see you. A.N. Henry, Hano Rock Pony, Rare Camellia, Quest Fanning, all of our friends. Glad to have you here. John Knox as well. Says, laugh out loud, I doubt Obama could grow a mustache and beard, even a bum fluff one. Very funny, very funny. Glad to have you here on the program today. Well, Steven Crowder is not who I wanted to talk about, because I'm trying to think of the guy who runs the Veritas project. James O'Keefe. Come on in, Edie. Nice to see you there. She's running a little bit early. Good morning, Edie. Nice to see you. Yeah, go ahead and have a seat over there, Edie, and I'll get you mic'd up here during the commercial break. No, James O'Keefe from the Veritas project has a new sting I'd love to share with you right now. Let's take a listen at his latest hit on the left. Or not, because I've got no audio. How about I unmute it?
It's amazing how you don't say the word critical race theory. You can technically teach it. And it's amazing how you've gotten schools to purchase a curriculum. And they don't even know what's going on. I always have a good salesman, but I'm also an evil salesman. Like, so bad. So the public schools have the state funding, right? They do. So the state is basically paying for your curriculum without knowing what's in it. Does your curriculum have critical race theory in it? Yep. And the government doesn't know. And they have no clue. And I'm like, this is good. In order to make sure it's under the radar, how do you? This is DEI work. How many schools in Georgia have your curriculum? Two districts, actually. So, County and then Cobb County. Wait, your curriculum that is in the schools here in Georgia is just kindergarten? It's one of here just kindergarten, yeah. But it's so cool. So your CRT stuff is kindergarten. It's so good. It's like, he's like such an idiot. Like, his wife does a lot of stuff in education here. Who's a former teacher. What do you think she would do if she found out there's CRT? Oh, I would get nailed, for sure. What about these parents who might push back after getting it? Who cares? I'm not part of the system. I'm not gonna lose my job over it. Worst that's gonna happen is y'all gonna be upset, and I shared some knowledge. That's the worst that's gonna happen. This is how we handle things.
That's it. The worst is that's the worst that's going to happen. People are going to be upset that he shared some knowledge there. Critical race theory, they're teaching it. They just don't call it critical race theory. Joining me now in studio to discuss this is the lovely Edie Vogel, joining us on camera right now. Good morning, Edie.
Well,
What do you think of that, Edie?
I'm surprised that Mr. O'Keefe hasn't been eliminated, if you know what I mean. And it doesn't surprise me. And I've just heard bits and pieces of it, Austin, so you might have to fill me in. I think he was telling the people that are doing the teaching or who are running the schools in Georgia were interviewed by O'Keefe's people, and he was telling O'Keefe's people that they are teaching CRT.
Yeah, so this is a teaching lab director who admits that they're violating state law in Georgia.
Okay.
And they're selling critical race theory curriculum to schools. So, schools will buy curriculum sometimes from private companies and then implement it. And then when they implement it, it is it's critical race theory, but they just don't call it that. So it's all the tenets of critical theory.
Yeah.
But this is how they get it in.
Can you?
Very sly. You want me to turn you up a little bit?
No. We're ready.
Too loud? Too loud? Okay.
Praise
That's
the Lord.
okay.
Thank you.
How's
okay.
that?
Okay. No, now I can't hear
now
you
you
at
can't
all.
hear me. Testing 1 2. We're doing this. Usually we would do this during the commercial break.
I know.
How's this? How's this?
That's good. That's perfect.
Much better. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
You can do this live. Well, I'm going to get an assistant. I'm getting an assistant, by the way. So
I'm going to say,
yeah.
So I heard through the Jeff City grapevine that there was a flood up here over Christmas.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh man. And then I tuned in every once in a while, and you were at your home, I think.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I knew, what else did I hear that I kind of have to laugh at?
What?
Well, I can't think of what it was. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Was it really?
It was Thursday when I told you that I was a chicken not to get out in that blizzard we had last Thursday.
Yeah.
and I only hesitated because I don't want to fall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a fall. I don't need to break anything.
No.
And I know the city had not done anything. It wasn't their fault because it immediately changed. They had no idea that it was going to happen. Okay, Mother Nature did her thing. And then I thought the second part of it is I had just gotten my new car, and I wasn't going to come up here and have some fool run into me. So I graciously thank you for letting me have the day off and sit at home until it cleared off, because I didn't go anywhere until I knew I could get down my driveway and get back up it again.
Yeah, for sure. Anna DePalm over in the live stream, she actually made a really good point. She says, interesting. So libertarians should sell curriculums to public schools.
Oh, man, Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Conservatives maybe need to start up some of these institutions where they have a curriculum. And
Okay, so after the big deal with the race theory and the school boards and the parents coming to the meetings, now of course the mainstream media moved that all off of telling us anything that was going on, except what you're just that we. So now I'm saying that it is still happening, and I don't.
The chat is asking, what kind of car did you get, Edie?
Oh, I upgraded to a BMW X6 competition.
Edie Vogel.
I'm making a house payment on my car because I live in my car. And I'm old enough I can drive what I want. And that's what I'm doing. And when I first got behind the wheel and came home from Columbia to Jefferson City, I couldn't, I mean, it is so, it's got 600 some horsepower.
Damn, that's nice. Edie, she's got raw horsepower.
Backed it into the curb and scratched up the rim. Okay, so when I picked up the car with a lease, I leased my car. Okay, and then when I did that, the guy said, "Miss Vogel, are you interested in getting rim protection?" Rim protection. Is that when I scratch my rims? He said, "Yes, we'll grind them down every time to do that because they noticed every one of my rims on my other car."
Every female driver I know scratches the hell out of their rims.
And I can parallel park, no problem. I'm getting really.
Well, you can?
Yes.
My wife cannot parallel park.
But as soon as I look in the mirror there's no worse sound than the rim hitting the curb. You think you have taken the whole side off of your car.
Hey, we love having you here.
There's the story.
Back, we're going to hit the news. We're going to talk about Donald Trump says he's going to return to Twitter. He's coming back.
That's good.
So we're going to talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're joined in studio with our friend Edie Vogel.
It's me.
It's okay, Edie. How you doing?
It's another windy day. At least it's not blizzardy now.
Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you too, Austin.
We were talking during the break, and I think it's worth mentioning for those who are just tuning in about the fact that I'm not on that network in St. Louis anymore. That they canceled the show. And you were curious why.
Yeah.
Just because, as it was told to me, there was a big backlash. They didn't really like me when I first started anyway. There was it's a very pro-Trump network. And I'm sometimes Trump, right?
Yes.
When
You and I've had that discussion.
Yeah.
I'm, how pro-Trump I am.
Yes.
But we can civilly talk to each other.
Right. And so it was disturbing to a lot of those audience members that I didn't believe the stolen election.
Okay.
I didn't believe the election fraud.
Okay.
And that's very important to Trumpers that you believe that. And then the second thing, which I thought was interesting, was the fact that I'm not a Christian, which really disturbs people. There's still discrimination in this country.
Yeah, but you and I have had that discussion many times on your religious beliefs, and being the person that I am, but I know that you know that there's a creator, okay? So that's all I worry about is,
so
you can't exclude you being a Christian.
There's still,
because you were baptized.
Well, yes.
And that's the original sign of that. So
sure,
don't worry about it.
Sure, but I don't identify as such.
Okay, that's great. That's great. But don't put your picture on a billboard down on Highway 50.
Oh, yeah. I see that and I'm like, this is just not.
They came behind him and put this big Jesus flag.
It's hilarious.
There's still there, and I love it.
It's a very Christian town we live in here, and there's a billboard as you enter the city. She's like, I'm an atheist and I vote, and I'm just kind of like. It's very going to take.
Yeah.
But hold on real quick. So Thomas Johnson is our friend who sent us a message this morning. It's the first time seeing him over here. Good to see you. Good morning, Thomas. He was talking about conservatives sort of educating children and with curriculum. And he says President Coolidge's family set up culture centers where immigrants were taught English and life skills and U.S. history and values. My parents used to run a ministry like that. I love that idea. That's a good idea. The Catholic Church does a lot of good stuff too with migrants. They do too
Catholic
much.
Church does a little bit too much, though, Austin. Don't get me started on that at 7:30 in the morning.
I don't want to get you started on that one at 7:30 in the morning.
No, because never mind.
Yes. Buddy Mansur over there, he says that Jeremy Boring's stolen election video is more accurate and believable. Good to know. Ann Henry says, where I live, we have a giant billboard that says abortion is murder. And it looks like we just got somebody who signed up for the Cantina Crew. That's the $10 a month pledge. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. We're raising some money today. It's so nice to see, the YouTube, our channel for the show, Edie, has been blowing up.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it's been kind of like my little secret sauce is that I've started producing these little 1-minute videos. And I'm doing a whole series.
I noticed that.
Have you seen these? The Guns of the Presidents?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been kind of like the hockey stick of growth with the
Yeah.
channel with these short people. So I think a lot of these new people that we're seeing that are coming in from there. The one you want to know the most popular video of all of those of all the presidents? You'd never guess. It's Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh.
That's the one that people are most interested in because he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, but he was in a wheelchair and he couldn't fire a gun typically.
Okay.
And so he would go on hunts and he would have other people shoot the birds. And then they would bring the birds out in front of him and he would take pictures
Oh,
like
yeah,
as
that's
if he
cool.
had shot the gun.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
But here's the thing, he would sometimes take shots because he had a gun mount for his wheelchair.
Well, if he was living now, they would tell him that he can't have any of that stuff. Don't you shoot those birds with a big rifle, And what they find about gun stocks?
Yeah.
That's all going to be that'll be to the Supreme Court, and they'll throw all of that out.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Oh,
Yeah.
God, we should talk about that. I'll tell you because
It's gonna it's gonna be thrown out as every state that has passed any of those gun laws, they're all unconstitutional.
I can't say
Illinois.
Yep, they are.
I mean,
They are
New York.
unconstitutional. I can't tell anyone to break the law without breaking the law myself. But I would say, because they're giving us like a 120-day, what they call amnesty period. I say us, but as if I owned any of those kinds of guns, as if I would say something like that. But there's a 120-day amnesty period that they're granting.
So you turn them in. So you can turn
You can turn them in if you want, or you can register them as short-barreled rifles.
Oh yeah, so they have your name on file, so they can come to your house with an FBI raid and steal all your stuff.
Give Edie a round of applause.
Come on,
Edie
people,
gets it.
wake up! I mean, it's just so obvious what's going on. Are you talking about documents lately?
Oh, we've been talking about
All week
documents,
long,
baby.
or
We've
last
been
week
talking about
too?
those
Okay.
documents. Well, we found out yesterday that Hunter Biden was staying at that house, and when he was on his cocaine and methamphetamine,
Oh, no wonder
his
it was
crack
around.
binge. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So apparently, and this is what I was reading this morning. Apparently, he was on those binges and he was all cracked out and he like passed out a lot. And there was there was some Chinese official that he met with that paid him millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That was at that house while Hunter Biden was passed out.
Okay. Now listen.
From these documents, I'm telling you, it is a scandal supreme.
Have the listeners and you figured it out that the news media is starting to turn on
Biden?
It's
been crazy.
And not only are they turning, but the deep state in the basement, which is Obama, is they're waiting. They'll use the 25th Amendment to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't really think they really want
Kamala,
whatever her name is, to
Kamala.
be. So how are they going to get around the Constitution in order to succession?
What's that? There's an old quote from the old foreign policy, Henry Kissinger. He says, "The illegal we do right away. The unconstitutional takes a little longer."
Yeah, see, everybody gird your loins and sit and wait because it's going to get exciting.
Gird your loins. I'm girding my loins. Gird them up. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Peterson, I'm Austin Peterson, and I'm joined in studio by my good friend, conservative activist,
my
Edie Vogel.
chastity belt.
Your chastity belt, and I'll gird my loins. Yes. We're glad to have you here on the program today. Welcome to the Cantina crew. I think we just got somebody else signing up for the show on the program today. I love it. It's great to see so much support from people joining, and they're joining like the $10 a month pledgers. Remember, when you do that, that means that all of a sudden you're going to see little statues of liberty next to your name. If you go for 2 months, you get gold bars, and then you have to see what it is when you get 3 months of subscriptions. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Cantina crew. Oh, also real quick, just so you know, if you are that monthly subscriber, you get a 20% discount off of the AP for Liberty shop. It bears mentioning. We've got awesome AK-47 keychains. ATF isn't going to take those away from you.
Keychains.
Yeah, you never know. Donald Trump, Facebook will for sure. Donald Trump Buddhas, Thomas Jefferson Buddhas, Wake Up America show merch, 20% off, all of that kind of stuff. So welcome. Glad to have you here. It's good to see all of our new faces and names this morning. Representative of the Republic is new today, says Hakuna Kamala. No worries. Hakuna Kamala.
Did the Golden Nugget basketball team was appearing in the White House? and Biden gets down on his knees
Mm-hmm.
and like he's proposing to what's her face, and she's cackling like a hyena.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
And the snippet that I saw just kind of, and all he kept, and they kind of replayed it this morning on something I was listening to on the radio was he referred to it as 72 feet or something. And so they tried to straighten out the story of the 72 feet by saying is there 5 men on a basketball team?
I have no idea.
Well, anyway, if you put them all, stack them all together, they equal 72 feet.
Oh.
Just,
All right, we need to talk about the news here.
Okay.
Do me a favor also. Your microphone is like pointed to the side away from you. If you could get it so it's pointed up towards your mouth.
There we go.
That would be great. Look at that. So much better on the audio. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We need to talk about the news that Donald Trump wants to return to Twitter. He's going to return to Twitter, and he also wants to return to Facebook. Which means that he's got something big planned. I mean, he's running for president of the United States. Obviously, he's got something big planned, but he wants to revitalize and renew and restore his social media presence. Will Facebook allow him back? Obviously, I'm going to ask you an easy question here. Should he come back?
Well, of course.
Okay, there we go.
You got it. He has a constitutional right for freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't get that settled before too long, where everyone has the right to say what they want, and then they face the consequences if they offend somebody by using the court system and take them to court, And if Mr. Trump has been to court, how many times in the last 7 years with people suing him, and has he ever lost anything? Not really.
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I know, but I think that the
defamation cases usually.
Yeah, the statistics will prove that he's never really been.
Ann Henry is over in the
convicted
live
of
stream. She
anything.
says you should be happy Trump got lots of us into politics where we now vote every time. Good for you. Glad to have you involved, because Ann Henry is now joining us and she's listening to Liberty Streams. It's nice to see, because I think that the conservative movement is more well balanced when it has libertarians in it, right? Because
I do too.
Because I don't think libertarians will ever be a majority, but I do think that it's important to have a voice of somebody who's always sort of pulling conservatives and Republicans more towards a limited government view on things. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I use the example, for me, in my opinion, of Rand Paul.
Yes. Perfect example. Example, Edie?
Because he is a voice of reason in the political arena of the United States Senate, which is full of bad news bears. Snakes. Yeah, and the leadership is number one snake. I don't understand why the people of Kentucky keep re-electing Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. You know what?
I don't get that.
Well, because eventually, you know why?
Well, he brings home
the bacon.
I know.
He brings home the money.
I mean, that just
Ching. I need a money sound up here in my stream.
And then they elect Rand Paul, and you got Mitch McConnell, and I'm thinking, well, there is some sense there.
Edie, let's be honest.
We are led by very, very stupid people.
That's right.
It's a great show today that we've got here with Edie Vogel. We're going to go to a commercial break. We've got 38 people watching the stream. That is some good numbers over there on YouTube. Are you over on Facebook as well, or any of the other social networks? Let us know. Send us a comment. Tell us, hey, we're over here. Your chat will show up on the live chat over there, unless you're on one of the platforms like Rumble. Sorry about that. Just because Rumble isn't quite integrated into the live chat over there on the stream. See that over there? Isn't that fun? Yeah, even if you're on Facebook, you don't have to feel like you're alone. Your comment gets put up there along with everybody else. However, if you really want to take full advantage of the program, we do love it when you join us over there on YouTube at youtube.com/AP for Liberty. And if you're watching the stream right now, there's 37 of you. Hit like. Even if you're going to be like, commercials, even though these commercials are awesome, and I produced them all myself, and they've got, Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Elon Musk in them and all that kind of stuff. Even if you decide you are going to leave during the commercial break, give us a like on your way out, would you? We'd appreciate it very much. We'll be back with more Edie Vogel on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America Show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive. And if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
Conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Do with whatever's right. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Nice to see you all here today. And you guys stuck around through the comments. We still got a lot of people over there this morning. A lot of people here joining us in studio. You know what it is? It's Edie Vogel.
No, it's not me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know, it's all of our. It's Edie Vogel joining us today, but also the show has really been growing as well, which is nice to see. So you know,
Absolutely.
it's exciting to see, and you know, you played a big part of it too, by the way, Edie. Because
you didn't do anything.
gave us a nice donation, help us buy a camera. We got to say thank you to Edie, and of course, thank you to our monthly donors and sponsors. And some of you actually gave, you know, single one-time donations, and some of you have signed up for like $17.76 a month, and it really helps because you know, I've got a lot of expenses associated with running the program, and you know, when there's pipes that explode here, you know, things break, I got to get them fixed. So I appreciate that very much. Representative of the Republic actually just joined the monthly subscribers club. What is going on today? Glad to have you here, by the way. Big applause there for you. We appreciate you. How about a little Rickroll for you there as well. Thank you very much. And if you haven't liked the stream yet this morning, I have one question for you.
Why are you gay?
Like that YouTube stream, because it's totally free and it helps us to grow today. We appreciate you very much. Welcome, Representative of the Republic. Introduce yourself, stick around. We hope to see you again in the mornings. All right, so can we talk really briefly, because we're going to have Camellia Peterson coming on. Apparently moms are freaking out about sleepovers now, and they don't know if they want to let their kids do sleepovers and stuff. I know. It's a whole thing. So we'll talk to Camellia about that at 8.
Yes.
But real briefly, I do want to mention the whole pistol brace thing with the ATF, right? And what's going on, because I didn't get to finish that conversation earlier, and just kind of briefly sort of explain what's at stake here. So I think that I'm not saying break the law, but I'm saying that maybe wait before you do something like, one, turn in or surrender your firearm.
Oh, absolutely. Don't
wait, because it's a 120-day amnesty period, but because there are going to be lawsuits, and you can also register it with the ATF. Like you said, that's not a good idea.
Away from that.
I would stay away from that too, but here's the thing. I can't tell you
none of us can do that.
I
but
can't
I'm
say
just-
not to do
you
that.
should- Come
I'm saying
on.
maybe
Think ahead. Think ahead.
Yeah. Come.
Oh, God! No, God, please, no!
Yeah.
Got the Constitution on your
Yeah,
side.
we do have the Constitution on our side, and we have the
we're
Supreme Court
only-
on our
we're
side.
the only nation in the world that has a workable Constitution that protects the citizens.
Exactly. And it will work. I mean, the thing is that it takes time, and we've got to fight. We've got to stick around. We've got to fight. We've got to build ourselves up. And I believe that you know, people like Matt Gaetz and others who are in there. And by the way, this Matt Gaetz just keeps impressing the hell out of me. I mean, he called to abolish the ATF yesterday, which I was just like, oh yes. But that speaker fight, Edie, was,
I know. No, listen, the whole speaker fight, you know who was in charge of that. Okay.
Who? George Soros.
No. Trump was calling the shots on that.
Well, I saw that he was calling
You know,
Marjorie Taylor Greene during
Now,
that thing.
I mean, I know they can I know they can make all that up, but I truly believe that I'm going to go back to my original thinking. I think President Trump is trying to expose everything he can possibly do with the fact that he was president of the United States for 4 years, and he saw how the deep state works, and we all can't deny that. There's no way you can deny that there's corruption in D.C. by the departments that are supposed to be protecting us.
Right. The deep state, defined as I see it, is not some conspiracy theory.
No, he's brought that to
me. As I understand the deep state is the bureaucracy, and the bureaucrats that are in it, that never change,
and they're not elected officials,
and they're unelected, and they stay there between administrations, and no matter what the policy is,
they do their own thing.
They do whatever they
Absolutely,
want,
and
even if the president has demanded a different policy. And I think that mostly they work on the behalf of Democrats.
Absolutely.
And they work to undermine Republicans.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that with Donald Trump's administration.
Yes.
And I find that to be...
It's disgusting.
Anathema.
You can't even find the words to describe it when you think that you have
I actually believe... I know that nobody's going to believe me on this one, and this is going to get like some laughs and jeers. I actually believe a second Donald Trump term would be better than the first. And the reason I believe that is because I think that he would go in there like a bull in a china shop.
So he knows what's going on.
I think he would be like the Bible story of Samson. Do you remember how Samson's story ended?
Here we go with the Bible stories that you're telling me, and I should know all that stuff. Go ahead.
Okay. In the story of Samson, in the Bible, Samson has his wife Delilah, and he tells her his secret of his strength.
Okay.
And the secret of Samson's strength was in his hair.
Okay,
And-
that's okay.
and-
Now I'm remembering
And
it.
so he sort of betrayed God by revealing to Delilah the secret of his strength. So she cuts it off, and Samson is captured by his enemies. At the very end of the story, Samson is in either a tent or a temple, I can't remember, and he's chained to the pillars in the temple. He's being tortured and he's being abused, and his enemies, the Philistines, are surrounding him and making fun of him, and they're torturing him and they're going to kill him.
The same thing
but
going on.
he has no strength. And so I think, yes, Trump is Samson in the story.
Yes.
And so, but here's what happens at the end is that he prays to God for one last time to give him his strength.
Mhm.
And Samson, and God grants his prayer. Samson is restored to his strength, and he pulls down the walls of the temple around him, and it kills him, but it also destroys the enemies of Israel.
Well, that's what I think we're trying to. Yeah, that's what Trump's trying to do.
I think so too. Now, it might destroy him.
Yes, but I think he's willing to.
But if he
make
destroys the enemies of Israel,
yeah,
we are God's chosen people.
yeah. Well, I can't disagree with that.
Let's talk to Camellia and see what she thinks of our biblical injunction when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamerica.show.com.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake. Yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes. You like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bullshit. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bullshit blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender. I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Do you have any real-world experience?
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Joining us in studio still is our good friend Edie Vogel. Good morning, Edie.
Good morning.
And our next guest who's joining us now live on the line is Camellia Peterson, who's got quite a nice upgrade on her camera there. Looking very nice, Camellia. Very
Thank
nice.
you. Good morning.
Good to see you. You look so very young today. It must be those cold showers you're taking.
Oh, for sure. Right. 2 weeks now. I mean, like, please clap because you have no idea.
What the hell is this with cold showers? All right, I'll give you an applause, even though I'm more of a boo on this one here, but I'll give you your applause for your cold showers. What is the deal with your cold showers?
Well, I don't know. I've been reading a lot of what they say, but there is, I think, some science to this. What was Quest Fanning was saying something. I was trying to remember all of the supposed health benefits to it, but Quest Fanning was saying something about its it helps with your heart health and supposedly maybe offsets dementia. And I'm thinking, yeah, it probably helps with the health of your heart because you're hyperventilating and get a cardio workout for, the first 30 seconds when you turn into the cold water.
Edie, you want to take a cold shower?
Listen, I will admit when I'm turning off the shower,
And it starts to get cold.
and I go, so,
well, that's what I do. I just finish it up.
Woo. All right. Well, let's throw some cold water on a different idea here, perhaps. No, not for sure. So I think that so this is a Wake Up America show, so we talk about national issues. Missouri sent a man to Congress this year who I'm excited for liberty lovers and true conservatives
guy
to
down
learn
Springfield.
more. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Billy Long's place.
Eric Burleson. Yeah,
Okay.
he's way better than Billy Long, at least from my perspective. Whereas Billy Long is more
An entertainer. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably represented his district well when he did that.
Yeah.
But I will have to start paying attention to him.
Burleson is
And
an intellect.
He came out of the legislature here,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
he's your congressman now, isn't he, Camellia?
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about this guy.
Yeah.
So Eric Burleson, and by the way, probably Eric Burleson is most well known for finally getting through the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Missouri. So that was kind of his crowning achievement, I think, in many ways, although he did lots of good things while he was in the legislature. But he's a freshman congressman. And so I'm so happy to see him get right to work right with Thomas Massey. And so Thomas Massey tweeted yesterday and tagged Eric Burleson and thanked him for co-sponsoring his bill to audit the Fed.
Oh, yeah. Audit the Federal Reserve, baby. Ron Paul is like, oh, baby, I'm so horny.
So anyway, I love that, he's meeting and he's working with the liberty-minded, people that we love in Congress, the very, very few that we love in Congress. And it's good to see. And I had no doubt that it would be anything else.
Well, that's good to see for sure. We're glad to see that. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm speaking to Camellia Peterson. She's an SON. I'm an SEN and a son of a bitch. And we're talking to Edie Vogel, who's joining us right now. And she's not a son of a bitch. She's a lovely lady.
I could be the other last part of it.
She could be one for sure, but she's not. We love having her in here today. It's a great show, and we're glad to have you here. Make sure that you like that stream if you're watching us over on YouTube. It really helps us to get out there in the algorithm. If you're new as well, make sure you introduce yourself. We're a really friendly crew of people, and we love to make new friends. So make sure you come in and say hi. Don't be shy. We love to meet you. Camellia, the reason why I brought you on here today, or, well, you have your regular twice a week gig, but the story that I shared with you yesterday is this story from some neurotic mom who's freaking out about sleepovers. Give us a synopsis before we bash her to high heavens.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole premise was whether or not people should allow their kids to go on sleepovers. And it tells the story, of this mom, her son, who was 12 years old, was over at a friend's house, and the boys are like, as kids do, they're like, oh, can we just let's do a sleepover. Let's just, extend this and stay all night. And so she is all of a sudden like, oh, I've never had to think about this before. What do I do? And where does she go? She goes to the internet.
Oh, God.
Where she looks at all kinds of things and, starts asking all of these questions about whether it's safe, what they will be doing. And she ends up politely declining. So so people get all up in arms about whether or not they should allow their kids to have sleepovers. Now, I will say that when my children were younger, and especially in Christian circles, this was kind of an issue that would go around, because people would question whether or not you should allow your children to go on sleepovers because of mostly people were like, you never know, because
it might have a Ouija board.
Right. Well, or, your child could be molested and you would never know. And there's all these things. And I think that some of this is this natural human tendency to believe the unbelievable and to believe the worst things. And you build these things up in your mind, and it doesn't really make much sense. And I think today, with what they were talking about in this article, what we really see is this tendency that people have now to outsource their reasoning skills and their critical thinking skills to experts on the internet, or just other people, that have no, I mean, why would you listen to them? You don't know who they are. You don't know why. And do you not know your own kids? You should know your own kids and what they can handle.
Brandon Meyer over in the live stream says, my mom only worried about lice.
Well, fair.
But I mean, one of the things that the mom was stated in this article in the Washington Post, which I subscribe to and read, so you don't have to, was whether the worrying about whether or not the people who you sleep over at their house, whether they have guns at their house, Camellia. Guns.
Yes, or whether they're going to be up all night watching TikTok, because you don't want her kids on screens all the time. Come on. Like, one night, if your kid is, watching more movies than usual, is not going to, harm them for life.
Dude, I used to go over to my friend Melvin's house when I was a kid, and he had Skinamax, and we would watch,
know what you're talking about.
We would watch Showtime, and we would watch Cinemax, and it would be like, Blood Sport with Jean-Claude Van Damme. We'd be like, yeah, and we'd watch, guys getting beat to hell and blood flying out of their mouth, and I was like, yeah, I totally want to be Karate Guy one day. And then after it was over, it would be like, some kind of like soft core,
porn.
Right? Austin, you are not.
I guess that's like, what.
And that's why I'm so messed up today.
You are not helping. It's like, you're not helping this argument. Well, you're actually making the case here.
Well, yeah. But here's the thing, and this is the point, right? So, I wasn't allowed to watch rated R movies. And so I would go to my friend's house and we would watch rated R movies. And I know my parents didn't want me to do it, but here's the thing. Like, stop being a friggin' nerd. Like, I needed to loosen up because my parents were so tight when I was a kid that it was like I could not identify with my own culture, right? And I think to some degree you will alienate your kids from their culture. And I know that there's a lot of people who are saying to themselves, well, good, I don't that culture's rotten anyway and you should be fine. Yeah, you know, you need to learn how to be independent and not cave into peer pressure and all that kind of stuff. But I will never forget one time when I was in middle school. I was in math class, and like sometimes when the teacher would go out of the room, the class would go bonkers, and I would pick up my book and I would read. And just like ignore everybody going nuts, right? And so I remember the parent teacher conference, hearing the teachers talking about that, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Austin's a model student. He sits and reads while everybody else goes crazy." And then somebody else says, "But I wonder if that means that, you know, he's not socializing and he doesn't like kind of fit in with his peer group and all that kind of stuff." I remember hearing that, and they didn't know that I was hearing them say that, because I was like I was like sitting outside the classroom when I heard them talking like that, and I realized, I was like, am I a nerd? I was like, am I turning myself into a loser? Am I alienating myself from my peer group? So like, I think there's got to be some kind of balance there somewhere, right? Where it's like, yeah, you know, maybe you don't want your kids to watch Skinamax and Bloodsport when they're, you know, 12 years
I
old.
missed out on all of that. There was nothing like that in my day. Okay,
Well,
so
you missed the 80s were awesome.
I figured that. I mean, I might have been sitting in a bar in the 80s while you're reading a book in your classroom.
Well,
you know?
I was reading a book in classroom, but watching Bloodsport and Skinamax at night. So, you know, and I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the kid or something like that. Like, you got to know your kid, Camellia. What do you think?
For sure. And something you said made me think. When when Anna Rosa was a baby, I saw this little plaque that I got and have had, you know, their whole lives. And it said, don't prepare the path for the child, prepare the child for the path. And I mean, parents do that, you know, they want to, you know, make sure that, you know, all of the circumstances and the situations are just right and safe and everything else for their kids. And instead they should be really focusing on it. There's a balance in everything, right? But we really should be focusing on making sure that our children are prepared for, you know, that they know your values and they know how to handle different situations. And, you know, maybe they don't, but, you know, teach them what to do when they don't know. And so, you know, and the thing is one of the comments that somebody made in here said that he was, you know, worried about what other kids would be talking about, and that, you know, other kids might be spreading misinformation or talking about sex, you know, and he said and he admitted that's a natural part of growing up, and he says, I'm not a helicopter parent, but he's our only son. And you're like, poor only children. Eldest children and only children are the guinea pigs. Poor kids, they get it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Our mistakes.
Speaking of, over in the live stream, our friend Christopher Hatch says, Miss Peterson is quite a MILF. Do you know what a MILF is, Edie?
No, I don't know what a MILF is.
Edie doesn't know what a MILF is?
Can we?
I'm an old lady. Come on.
Can we not have that discussion?
You just, whatever you're calling her, it's embarrassing her. What is it?
Oh, God. See, well, I didn't make her squirm on Tuesday. A MILF, Edie, is a mom I'd like to...
Well, that's not. Gee whiz. No wonder, is she red in the face?
Have fun with it. Yeah, she is red in the face. I think we'll probably have to leave her on that. Unless there's anything else, Camellia, that you'd like to add before we go?
Well, I'm a little speechless now.
Yeah, I would think you'd be speechless.
How do you follow that up?
MILFs. MILF Squad, MILF Hunters.
Oh, Lord.
Christopher, good luck. If you need her info, just let me know. Send me a DM and I'll send you her phone number. Camellia, thank you for your time today.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, that was good stuff. Now you know what a MILF is, Edie.
Oh, for goodness sake, so leave me out of that quagmire.
MILF Hunters. I'll tell you what a MILF Hunter is later.
Oh, gee
We'll be
whiz.
back with more on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning. Austin Peterson here. Welcome to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're glad to have you here. Joining us in studio still is our lovely Edie Vogel. Hi, Edie.
Good morning again.
Good morning. Thank you. coming on today.
Exciting show today.
It's been a very exciting show.
And lots of giggles in today.
Lots of giggles, yeah. Lots of jokes, lots of good friends, new friends joining us over there in the stream. Lots of donations. We're super grateful. This show survives based on the support from people like yourself. I mean, in terms of advertising, we do get some advertisers and things like that, but the majority of our financial support comes from viewers like you. So thank you very much for supporting us and not PBS. We're glad to have you here. Edie, I thought this was an interesting article that I read in the Wall Street Journal. I was kind of summarizing it for you during the break. The head of the commissioner of Major League Baseball back in late 80s, early 90s, a guy by the name of Fay Vincent, wrote an article. Fay Vincent was his name, and he wrote an article about what it feels like getting old.
So I assume he's still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, he wrote this article this week, so it came out, and he quoted Shakespeare. From, and I can't say it because I'm a theater person, but it's the Scottish play. You can say it. The Scottish play.
The Scottish play?
Yes. The Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane Hill. I can't say the name of it because it's bad luck.
Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You can say it.
What am I supposed to say?
It's sort of like McDonald's, right? But Mac, and then, if you had a girl and her name started with a B and her name was Bethany, but you shorten Bethany.
Macbeth.
Yes, you can say Macbeth. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, it's something that you got in your head it's bad luck for
I can't say it. It's part of theater superstition.
Okay.
So ever since I was a young man, I was taught never to say.
Okay.
You can only say it if you are in the play.
All right.
If you're in the play, you can say it. But if you are not in it,
it's bad luck.
It is bad luck to say that name without doing it. So,
and then you learn that in your theater arts
in my
class.
theater
class.
Yes, theater arts class.
Tongue-tied, Sonny,
Yes.
tongue-tied.
In the play, he laments, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." So Shakespeare is talking there about how fleeting and how brief life is, and how while it exists, it's loud, it's noisy.
Now, I'm really a great student of Shakespeare.
It's
You know
arrogant.
that. I'm just...
Well, that's why I'm here,
Well, but you are, and you're talking to the biggest idiot when it comes to anything to do with Shakespeare. Come on. Romeo and Juliet.
Well, this is why I'm signifying nothing. So I don't agree with Shakespeare's analysis that life signifies nothing. But in it, really, it's lamenting how short life is.
And there we go. We know that every day.
And so, I like this joke from George Will, where he said one of the consolations of old age is the realization that at least one isn't going to die young.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, right. And so the question is how do you sort of accept the ninth decade of your life, right? Heading towards the ninth decade of your life. I don't know how old you are, but
I'm old.
But I'm turning 42 next month.
You're just a babe.
Well,
a babe in arms.
But here's the thing:
compared to me,
getting to here where I'm at now, turning 42 next month, it feels like it was just a snap, and I'm here.
You get to be my age, and you know that life is a snap. But I kind of like the idea that even though I know how old I am, I don't feel like, and I know I don't act my age because I'm immature. Okay? And I like to laugh, and I like to have a good time. But it does, as I reach the age that I have reached, I know that the good days are behind me, and I'm trying to get ready for the hereafter, and try to just finish it off as well as I can. Because like you said, like I think, you do not know the hour or time that death is going to come to you. And when you just read the thing about you don't die young, it flashed through my small brain that all of these young people that are overdosing accidentally or on purpose with drugs, I just find that so bad.
I want to take a quick injunction and welcome our friend Rod Paris to the Cantina crew this morning. Wow, that's another $10 a month subscriber. Grateful to have you here, Rod. Thank you very much for your support of this show. and we're happy to have you here. I'm speaking to my friend Edie Vogel this morning. We're talking about, preparing for the end of life. And one of the things that you kind of realize too, at least from this article, as I'm understanding, is that, injunctions from the grave are never valid, meaning that, any attempt to try and influence what will happen here on the planet beyond your
We can't do it.
death is,
Yeah.
it's useless.
Yeah.
So really all you have is this opportunity here while you're here.
Yeah, that's right.
And to
make a difference.
To make a difference while you're here. And
in this day and age, I've preached it and preached it and preached it. You got to participate in what's going on.
Mhm.
You just can't live in your own little world.
Mhm.
And then when things go wrong, like the mess we're in now, you gotta speak up.
Mhm.
It's not.
Now is the time to take action.
Yeah.
Right? Not later.
Yeah. No.
Right. I mean, some people who, might leave, fortunes, might be able to have some kind of a small impact beyond they're gone. But I found this study, and I was doing this when I was reading about like people complaining about like the wealth, wanting to like tax the death tax and stuff. And I thought to myself, the reality is that wealth is usually squandered by the third generation. That most people who complain about generational wealth don't realize that if you have wealth, that typically by about the third generation, it's gone. Not always, but typically most times, you'll have rich parents, and then the people who are below them will inherit it, and they will spend to a certain degree, and then the third generation typically spends about all that they've had. Now, there are some legacy families that continue in, but
Well, I think my family is an example of trying to continue the example that my great grandfather set when he opened up a brewery
Mhm.
and took it through his life and passed it on to his sons, and his sons passed it on to their children. And I'm fifth generation business owner,
Mhm.
and we're a small business, but we are family owned, and we provide refreshment, for so many since 1892, and I think that that's a mark of
It's a legacy.
something that's good.
For sure. The Vogel name in Jefferson City where we live is a legendary one, and they're in mid Missouri.
Now I can cause a lot of embarrassment to the legacy, but
Sure.
but I think every family has a character in it, and that's me.
Yes.
Okay, I would never compare myself to my deceased brother, who was a fine gentleman and a servant, a statesman of the state of Missouri to the legislature. He did a great job, and I just I still hear stories of what he did for people and how he did it, and it was done the way he felt, that he didn't want any honor and glory, and that's to be admired. I
Yes.
mean, and I'm proud of my family legacy here in Jefferson City.
As you should be. There are like 12 family names in mid Missouri that are kind of legacy names. Vogel is one of them. Dooley is another one, and I could probably go down the list and
Yeah,
find them.
and we had very humble beginnings. The
What would
folks
you?
they came from Germany to find freedom, and they've
Can I
done that.
Can I ask you something,
Yes.
Edie? It's kind of a deep personal question.
That's fine.
What would you like most to be remembered for?
Oh, just being I don't want. I hope I brought some laughter in people's lives, that they could think that maybe they could say she was a little bit crazy, but I don't. I just I don't want to leave a big mark where it's. I don't know, Austin. That's a
Isn't that a hard question?
Yeah, it's a hard question because I can't. I don't look at myself as being anybody different than better than anybody else.
Yeah.
But I do know I have that background of success. I don't.
I think I want to be, if I could.
That's
just guess
hard.
right- yeah,
That's
it is
a hard
one.
question.
I think if I were to say right now, I think it's someone who helped sort of open people's minds, right? That would be someone that I was someone who helped people to think about things in different ways.
And you have, and
Yeah.
in your short period of life on Earth, you've done that.
Well, see, that's to me.
To me, I mean, I feel like you've given me a lot of information, or made me want to look stuff up, or that I never crossed my mind. Now, don't get me in the sports world, because I don't follow any of that.
Me either. I
But,
think I'm going to cry.
But it's something that we have to. You just have to. I don't know. You just
That means a lot to me to hear that because I you know what it is? I think is that I'm a very curious individual, and I always like to kind of like understand things. And then once I feel like I understand something, I want to know I want to think of the opposite of that thing
uh-huh.
and then kind of work my way back towards sort of deconstructing that idea. And because to me, it's sort of like a puzzle. Ideas are like
Yeah,
puzzles.
life is a puzzle.
Yeah.
That's right.
And to me, so like when you find out like a fact or a statement, or if you're lucky enough to arrive at a truth, which is very rare, truth is way more rare than facts. Facts are everywhere.
Yeah.
Truth is elusive. But when you arrive at a fact or a truth, how did we get this fact? Where did it come from? And do we know for sure it's a fact? Right? I don't get so philosophical that I ask myself, I'm like, that I say, I think, therefore I am, right? Do we know anything's real? Is this all a simulation? I like I prefer to stick to the tangible, right? What can I prove? What's true?
Mhm.
What's absolute? And then move from there to, well, are there any things that contradict that? And I think this makes me sort of an outlier even in my thought group because and would fall back on Aristotle, who one of his quotes. I'm bringing Shakespeare and Aristotle. I know. I'll break it down. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it.
Okay, I can.
That's an Aristotle quote.
Okay.
I'm a libertarian. I believe in maximizing freedom.
Mhm.
But yesterday, for example, I drove everyone insane, and my wife even was arguing with me last night about it. And when I asked the question, should we ban pit bulls? And everybody thought that I was saying that we should ban pit bulls. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
But in order to understand the mindset of people who are arguing for this, and I don't like pit bulls, right? I was arguing the other side. In debate class, we used to do this. You'd have to argue a side of something that you don't agree with, right? And so my mind typically will say, okay, this is what I believe is the truth, but what are people who disbelieve me? What are they arguing? What are they saying?
Mhm.
What are their views? How did they come to this conclusion? And so for me, I guess I'm a little bit of I've been a gadfly, the fly in the ointment, if you will, right? The turd in the punch bowl is sometimes but as I'm referred to. My brother's always called me that. But when I find myself in a crowd, I always feel like the black sheep. I always just kind of like, I see, the masses of people heading in some direction, and I ask why.
Where are they going?
Where are they going? And usually I'll ask them, and as I've gotten to 42 years old, I'll ask the crowd, where are you going? Why are they going this way? They're like, we don't know. We're just going this way because everybody's going this way. Everybody's going this way, so we're going this way. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Why are we going? I'm going to try going the other way. And then when you go the other way, what'll happen is you piss people off.
Mm.
But then, you'll have you'll have your Tolly Owens, your Brandon Myers, your Elizabeth Fanning Presses, your Chris Morrells, Ann Henrys, who will see you going the other way, and they'll be like, well, I'm gonna go the other way too, and that's fascinating to me. That human psychology is fascinating to me. And you learn things about people when you can change their behavior. But the only way that you can kind of change people's behavior and influence people is to make them think first, typically, right? That you could make an argument that like there's big dumb idiot influencers out there who influence people and not make them think, right? But at first, an influencer who is influential has to have some kind of spark of maybe a grain of truth. Maybe they build an empire of lies around it, but there's a reason why people find them compelling, at least enough to follow. Right. So I don't know. I'm being a little bit too, what's the word?
Oh, you're kind of up here.
Pie in the sky. I know.
But it's okay.
Is it okay?
Because I was going to, you jogged my mind. Here's an example of how I look that I don't do that.
Mhm.
Some of the stuff that everybody follow.
Mhm.
When I'm in an event and people are, and I don't do it much but everybody wants to get their phone out and take pictures. And I'm standing there and I'm going, this is all I want to take this in on my own. I don't need to be snapping my phone,
Mhm.
and I'm odd man out because I'm the only person there not snapping away with a phone, taking pictures. Here's my picture right here.
I love it.
My brain isn't the most articulate in the world. But after I've seen something that, like, first time I ever saw Pope John Paul
the second
in Rome, you know, and everybody's, and I had no camera, I had nothing, didn't have.
You just wanted to appreciate that moment,
and it's ingrained in my mind.
Well, there's something that I think is an important lesson to leave behind for people, and certainly one that's most relevant to today is to kind of live in that moment, to enjoy it. When I go to Japan, for example, we were talking about earlier,
I'd be taking millions of pictures, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the picture that you're going to have is what you put up here.
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've got one more segment to go here, and one last chance to embarrass you. Can I ask you, Edie?
Yes. Yes.
Kellogg's cornflakes. Do you know anything about like the history of Kellogg's cornflakes, or the Kellogg family, or anything about
it? It's Battle Creek, Michigan, I think, is their home base.
You do know something about
and
that.
That's, you know, and I do like cornflakes.
I do too. Do you know why they invented cornflakes?
No, I don't. So you can embarrass me again.
No, I mean, it's not about being because you don't know. It's because when you find out why they did it, you're going to be like...
You're going to go, bleh. Why didn't I know that, right?
No.
No?
No, there's a good reason why you don't know it. We're going to talk about it though when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America Show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. God, it has been an awesome show today.
Yeah, it's gone by fast.
Yeah, our friend Edie Vogel joined us here in studio today. Glad to have you in studio. It's been a lot of fun. Brandon Meyer was correcting me on my Aristotle quote a little bit earlier. He says that the actual quote was, "For it is the mark of an educated person to search for the same kind of clarity in each topic to the extent that the nature of the matter accepts it." We appreciate that very much. Christopher Hatch sent us a super chat this morning. Grateful, Christopher. Nice to see you. He says, "What do you think of Tom Hartman? Been on his show lately?" No, I haven't. I should have Tom Hartman on my show, actually. He's this progressive liberal guy that I used to spar with back in the day, Edie. But that's kind of how I learned all my television skills. I used to go debate commies. For sure. You can text us at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Glad to have you. All right. One last thing before I let you go. So this was an interesting story. This is something that I've known for years, Edie, but it kind of blows people's minds when I share this story with them. You're not going to believe it when I tell you immediately what the actual reasoning behind
Cornflakes.
It's cornflakes.
Yes.
And the Kellogg brothers also invented granola.
Okay.
The granola bars.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of like back in the day, and certainly to some point, and I'm sure you believe this, again, this is where it's going to get a little embarrassing and a little adult. It was considered that self-pleasure was not only sinful, but also harmful.
Okay.
Or you probably heard
that
for a while, that that self-pleasure was harmful. So the idea is that, during the Victorian era, the Kellogg brothers were seeking a cure for, well, there's a word for it. We call it onanism. After the Bible, there's a story about a man named, I believe, Onan. And Onan, instead of giving his seed to his brother's wife, as God told him to, he allowed his seed to spill on the bed. And so God punished him for it, right? Rather than do as God had instructed him and impregnate his brother's wife. So the word is onanism. They call it onanism after that, because it's rather than completing a proper act as God instructed.
Move on.
No, it's going to get worse.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
Oh, Lord.
So one of the loudest anti-onanism voices during the Victorian era was John Kellogg. And so guess where I'm going with this? So they wanted healthy living, right? They advocated for healthy living. They had this estate, right? The Road to Wellville. There's a movie about it back in the day. And they, they wanted you to adopt a vegetarian diet, abstain from alcohol, tobacco, no spicy foods, get lots of fresh air and exercise as a way to kind of prevent you from, doing that detrimental thing to yourself. Onanism, right? So Kellogg believed that the biggest problem was the diet, right? So we needed a healthy diet. So he thought that meat and flavorful foods, seasoned foods, increased your desire. So the plainer the food, things like cereal or nuts or whatever, would curb your diet. So Kellogg created what he called a health treat for patients that consisted of things like oatmeal and cornmeal, and he baked it into biscuits, and he called it granula. Right. So
Okay.
there was a lawsuit because somebody else was inventing something similar. So under the threat of the lawsuit, he changed the name to
Granola.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So another one of his health inventions to like clean out your guts was an enema machine.
Okay.
All right. It delivered water through the bowels, and then a squirt of yogurt. Right. That invention didn't catch on. But Kellogg's cornflakes, he just started developing Kellogg's cornflakes as a way to prevent young people from engaging in onanism.
Is this where the snap, crackle, pop comes in?
Oh no!
Okay.
There is a pop though, but I don't know about the snap or the crackle. If you've got a snap or a crackle going on there, you've got you've got problems. So Brandon Meyer over in the question says, so the road to Wellville was based on a true story. Yes, it was. It was based on a true story. John Rail says, "Oh, believe me, eating healthy doesn't change that desire at all." Yes, I know, it's true. Camellia says he was a Seventh-day Adventist. It's funny. Cereals and yogurt enemas might have kept most people morally in line, but Kellogg also supported more extreme measures, stuff that might have get your medical license revoked for people with persistent onanism habits.
Jesus.
So it's funny because now we remember Kellogg for his tasty breakfast cereals.
So every time I look at
a box of Kellogg's
cornflakes. Now I'm going to really throw you off track here today and help educate the big dummy sitting here.
Okay,
I hope a cornflake does come from a grain of corn.
It does.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
They don't jerk off a rooster and
we're all going to burn in hell.
We're gonna burn in hell. We're gonna burn in hell. I think we've got to go on that mode. I gotta say, I know it's a little bit early, but we've run out of topics.
Yeah.
I've run out of energy, and
never eat cornflakes again.
Yeah,
without laughing.
Yeah, no. Enjoy your cornflakes. Edie and I are gonna go. We've had an awesome day.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
it was a good show.
Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Glad to have you on here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy it.
It wasn't dangerous outside.
Hope the listeners enjoy our bantering back and forth.
I think so. Did you enjoy the show so far today? Did you enjoy it? I'd love to hear from you, and on what you think of the program. Any feedback would be great.
And think of cornflakes. She'll be okay.
Do us a favor before you leave. Will you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon? It really helps to grow the YouTube channel when you do that. If you got some entertainment out of the program today, and if you said to yourself, Austin, this show was worth a monthly donation, you can join us at a $2.99 level on the Freedom Ninja level. You can also join us at a $9.99 level for the Cantina crew, and basically just help to continue to get more quality entertainment like this every day. I'm going to go to work now. I was explaining to Edie about my artificial intelligence routine.
I got to find that device.
And I'm going to explain that to her. I'm going to
go.
go.
While we're eating cornflakes. Sorry.
It's all good. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so that means it's Family Friday. My lovely wife, Stephanie, will be joining me here in studio. So we'll see you tomorrow with the Ginger Ninja on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Bye, Edie.
Bye.
like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.